Hello everyone. Today I want to talk about the Vim Text Editor. In the world there are three types of text editors. There is Vim or VI, there is Emacs, and there is all the rest. So there are two big editors, VI and Emacs. So sooner or later you will have to choose into which group you want to belong. 20 years ago I chose Vim, so that's what I want to talk about in this video. So there is a term, editor war, which is about the rivalry between the users of Emacs and VI. You can read this article. I will put a link under this video. So VI, the original VI text editor was written in 1976 by Bill Joy. This is the guy. And the good thing is that VI is part of every Unix system. So if you can SSH to a Unix system, for instance, it is 100% sure that VI is installed on this Unix system. However, this traditional VI is not very comfortable, or not comfortable at all. So I do not suggest using the traditional VI. There is an improved version of it called Vim. It stands for VI Improved, which was released in 1991, and it is developed by Bram Molenaar. He is a Dutch programmer. And this is much better than the original VI. It's a superset of VI, and it's very comfortable to use. So in this video I will talk about Vim, and actually if somebody tells you that he or she is using VI, it is almost 100% sure that he or she means Vim. So we usually say I use VI, but we actually mean we use Vim, the improved version. So let's see how to install Vim. If you type the command vim, Ubuntu tells you that it's not installed. And Vim can be found in several packages. I suggest vim-gnome. It's a big, complete package. However, if you install vim-gnome in Ubuntu, at least in 16.04, there is an older version in the repository, 7.4. And Vim already has a newer version, version 8. And I prefer always a newer version, so I will show you how to install it. However, at the moment you can install version 8 from an unofficial source. But let's see how to do it. I will also put this link to the bottom of the video, but in Google you can simply type Ubuntu 16.04 Vim 8 and choose one of the links. I chose itsfos.com, but it doesn't really matter. And it will tell you which commands you need to execute. So here Vim 8.0 has lots of new features compared to 7.4, so it's better to install a newer version. So we need to execute these commands. Here just press enter, then sudo apt update, and then sudo apt install vim. Yes. Okay. And now you can start Vim with the command vim. And when you start it, here you can see the current version. You can see that it is 8.0 instead of 7.4. And the most important thing is how to quit. Fortunately, there is a help here. So if you type :Q and enter, then you can exit. So colon, here at the bottom left corner, you can see the :Q. It's short for quit, and enter. This is how you quit Vim. Okay, and now I want to show you some basic usage of this editor. Here I already have text.txt. So if you want to quit, simply :Q. If you want to insert some text, then press I. In the top left, bottom left corner, you can see that we are in insert mode. And now you can type some text. Now, if you want to quit with :Q, you cannot because you changed the file. So no write since last change. If you add an exclamation mark, then you can quit without saving your changes. So the changes are lost. Now I put it back, and if you type in some text and if you want to save it, then :W. It will simply write your changes. And there is also :X, which will write your changes and quit. So this is save and quit. Okay, so these are the most important basic usages of Vim. And I also suggest that you add an alias to your .bashrc file, because on some systems VI, the traditional one, and Vim, the improved version, coexist next to each other. So sometimes if you type simply vi text.txt, maybe it will start the traditional VI, which is quite uncomfortable to use. And to avoid this problem and to always use Vim, I suggest that you add the following line to the end of your bashrc file. So at the end, simply add alias vi equals vim. So whenever you happen to type vi, Vim will be used automatically, the improved version. Good. Let's open a new terminal, and this setting is already activated. Okay. When you use Vim, it is highly suggested that you create a configuration file. And it is an art to create your own configuration file. Without a config file, it can be painful to use Vim. So with this config file, you can customize the text editor. And I give you my config file. I will also put this link to the bottom of this video. So let's download it, and let's rename it. It must be called .vimrc. And now if I edit a file, for instance text, you can see some changes. At the bottom there are two lines. The name of the file is visible. You can see the date. Here you can see the line and the column and so on. So here we have an extra line with some additional information. You can see the time and so on. My config file contains lots of other things. Feel free to discover it. If you don't want to use it, you can also simply delete it and create your own config file, or you can edit my config file, customize it, change it to your liking. And now I want to show you the 4 modes of Vim. So Vim is a modal editor. It means that it has different modes, and it is quite unusual. In normal editors there is only one mode, the editing mode, but in Vim there are 4 different modes. So when you start it, you are in the normal mode, and here if I press for instance H, it doesn't appear. So it doesn't appear because we are not in that mode. We are in a normal mode, and in normal mode when you press the key, it can have a special meaning. For instance, DD means delete the current line, so that line is deleted. If I want to delete this line, press DD again and the whole line is deleted. So this is the normal mode. If I press U, it will do an undo. Press U again, undo. These two lines are brought back. So this is the normal mode. There is another mode, the insert mode. In normal mode, if you press I, then you go to insert mode. For instance, here press I, and in the bottom left corner you can always see in which mode you are in. So we are in insert mode. And now if I type something, it will appear, just like in Notepad, for instance, or in other text editors. And if you press escape, you can always go back to normal mode. So it doesn't matter in which mode you are in, by pressing escape you will always go back to normal mode. And it is very usual that Vim users hit escape all the time. So it is easy to recognize a Vim user while he is working in his text editor. He is pressing escape very often. So this is the second mode, the insert mode. There is also a command mode, and in the normal mode, if you press colon, then you go to command mode. We have already seen it, so colon, and for instance with W we can write our changes. So here also we can type different comments. For instance, there is a command help, and with colon Q we can close this frame. Okay, this is the command mode. It is similar to Midnight Commander. Here also we have a command line. Here we can type commands in just one line, and in Vim we can go into this line, this command mode, with colon. If you do not want to use the command mode, simply press escape and you can go back to normal mode. And there is also a visual mode. With Shift V you can select lines. For instance, I want to make a copy of these two lines. So I select them I am in visual mode, and by pressing Y we can copy it to the clipboard. It is called yanking in Vim. So it is copied, and with P in normal mode, if you press P, you can insert those two lines. I don't want to explain every command because that could be the topic of another video, so this is not a tutorial actually. I just want to show how to install it and I want to show you the basic usage of Vim. How to learn it? Yeah, so I save the changes and I quit. How to learn it? There is a command called vimtutor. Just launch it, and here at the bottom you can see that it made a copy of this tutorial file. However, it opened this file with the traditional VI editor. So I suggest the following. You make a copy of this file with :w, and you provide the path of the file where you want to save it. So for instance, /tmp/ mytutor.txt. Okay, it is written. Let's quit. And now open this mytutor file with Vim mytutor, and now you can see it is opened with Vim because here we have two lines, so our .bashrc file was read correctly. And now you can read this file and do everything that is explained in this file. I also started with this vimtutor when I decided to learn Vim. Okay, now I want to show you how to use Vim in Midnight Commander. If you remember, if we press F3, then the built-in viewer will be used, and with F4 the built-in editor will be used. But let's say we want to use VI. Okay, now I will use Vim to edit my bashrc, and at the end I add these two lines. Copy, shift insert. Okay, so editor, this variable will contain the path of Vim, and the viewer will also contain this value Vim. Let's save it and open. Don't forget to open a new tab, and now in this tab these variables are visible. Now start MC, and in the configuration, if there was a tick in front of these two rows, remove the tick. So we do not want to use the internal editor, and we do not want to use the internal viewer. Okay, save the changes, and let's see. On text.txt, if I press F3, it is opened with Vim, and if you press F4, it is also opened with Vim in editing mode. Excellent. And I want, at the end of this video, I want to give you some tricks how to learn Vim quickly. For instance, in a week you can learn the basics of this text editor. So it's a very powerful text editor, and it is worth investing time and energy to learn it. So you should start with vimtutor. You can go over this tutorial in 30 minutes, but you won't memorize everything. So actually I had to read vimtutor 2 or 3 times until I could memorize all the things. So the best thing is to use Vim. When you finish vimtutor, start using it. And when you need to edit some text file, always use Vim. And when you need some special functionality, and if you remember that you saw it in vimtutor but you forgot how to do it exactly, then simply look it up in vimtutor. And you can also make notes on a sheet of paper. And if you need something fancy that is not in vimtutor, then simply Google it. You will find the solution and then use this new knowledge. There is also another trick how to force yourself to use Vim. For instance, there is a simple text editor called Joe. I will install it too. And let's say that you always use Joe, for instance. It looks like this. Yeah, this is Joe. And here in the top right corner it tells you that if you press Ctrl H, you get a help. Okay, and for instance, how to quit, exit, Ctrl K, X. You save changes and you can quit. Okay, let's say that you use this Joe all the time and you want to switch to Vim. Then you can put an alias to your .bashrc file by simply saying that alias Joe equals Vim. Save it and open a new tab. And now if you want to use Joe again, it will be replaced with Vim. So this is Vim. And yeah, if you use a text editor for years, then you want to use it automatically. But with this trick, you can trick yourself and you can force yourself to use Vim all the time. And this is what I did. I forced myself for a week to use it and learn the basics of it. And after a week I got to like it. And it was 20 years ago and I've been using Vim since then. Of course, sometimes I also use a different text editor. My current favorite for coding is Visual Studio Code, but I also use Vim every day. So it's good to learn Vim, and of course you can use other text editors too, but Vim is so good and so logical. Actually, there is logic behind its commands. It's easy to learn it if you invest some time, and then you will like it so much that you will suffer when you need to use a different text editor. So with Vim you can be really productive, and if you invest some hours, some days to use it, to learn it, it will give you a real boost when working with text files. So this is the end of this video. I hope you liked it, If it was useful, hit the like button please, and thank you for your attention, and good luck with Vim.